Hi everyone, my name's Dylan. Some people know me via my Twitter/X account, Captain Springbok. I post a lot of Springbok related content, rugby related content. I attended the World Cup in 2023. I went to quite a few games. And I'm here today to tell you how the Rassie-ie-ie in Your Head song came about. It's firstly a bit about me. I got a few thousand followers on X. I usually make memes and post them online. Quite a few of them have gone viral. Probably would have come across some of them at some stage. Some of my comments have also been reshared on various platforms as well. I also famously did a tweet back in May of 2023 where I predicted the Springboks would win the World Cup against New Zealand in the final, and they would win by 1 point. Funny enough, I bookmarked this tweet when I tweeted that, and it came true, and a lot of South Africans reached out to me asking for lots of numbers after that, which if I knew, I would have been playing myself. Anyway, so I'm just here today to tell you how I came up with the Rassie song and sort of dispel myths as well, about where it started, who started it, how it started. Also just want to say I live in London. I'm from Cape Town originally. Hopefully I'll go back or move back there soon at some point. And so yeah, I didn't hear this in a bar somewhere or watching a rugby game and decided to claim it for myself. Yeah, I'll explain later in the video how it all came about. So I'll post some pictures, some tweets about it, how it all built up and how we got to where we are today with South African fans singing it in stadiums all around South Africa.
Rassie, 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 what's in your head? In your head! Rassie, 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 in your head!
Okay, well, it all started when we lost to Ireland, and that game was quite frustrating. At the end of the game, we were trying to get the ball out the back of the ruck. We all thought the ball was out. Ben O'Keefe thought differently. I think the whole of South Africa would disagree. We were on the 5-metre line in a scoring position, and he blew the whistle saying we're taking too long to get the ball out, and that was a ball game. It was a brutal way to lose, considering we also left points on the board. So it was a tough week as a Springbok supporter. We were getting a lot of flack online from Irish supporters and other European supporters, rugby supporters, and even fans from New Zealand and all around the world. Were giving us a lot of grief online and on various podcasts and rugby programs. They're really having a dig at us, and it didn't sit well with me. It bothered me quite a bit, as I know it did a lot of South Africans, and we all knew that wasn't the end. The World Cup's, it's a long campaign, and you can't afford to lose one game. So we knew that it wasn't over yet. But after that game, there was a video that I saw online. I think it also went quite viral. It was of a South African fan. He was sitting in the stands, silent, disappointed, angry, and the camera was just on his face, and the Zombie song was playing, and the Irish fans were all singing and going crazy, and I just felt like he was channeling how the whole of South Africa were feeling after that game, and that really resonated with me. And to be honest, that whole week we were getting so much stick online, and I thought, this isn't over. We're still going to win this. And this Zombie song, I can't get out of my head. How do I change it to make it something for South Africa and at the same time annoy Irish fans? So I was looking at the words. It's in your head, it's in your head, zombie. And I thought, well, let me see if I can change the word zombie to a South African player's name. So I went through the names, and actually Bongi worked the best, and But I just thought at that stage, like, you know, he wasn't someone that was really getting in anyone's heads. I mean, if he had the incident with him and Curry afterwards, if that had happened before, maybe I would have gone with Bongi rather than Rassie, but it wasn't a thing then. And then I replaced Zombie with Rassie, and I thought, you know what, this works. You know, and then I thought, you know, he's always getting in people's heads. You know, with all these, you know, press conferences announcing teams early, coming up with 7-1 splits, 6-2s late in the tour, and then reverting back to 5-3s, although that was later on after the song started. But the point being, you know, Rassie was getting under people's skin, in their heads, you know, playing mind games. You know, he's the best at it. So I thought, well, let me do this. This works. So I went and found a picture of Dolores O'Riordan. She was the lead singer of the Cranberries, and famously in that music video, she was draped in gold, or she was gold with gold paint draped in sort of gold chains. So I looked for a picture of that, which I found online, and then I went and found a picture of Rassie. I looked for a few to see which one would work best. So I overlaid Rassie's picture on her picture, and I then changed the words, you know, famously to "He's in your head, he's in your head," Rassie. And a lot of people didn't pick it up, but I actually changed the artist from the Cranberries to the Raspberries, which was on my original meme. I'll put up a video of how I created that alongside this. I then posted that on Twitter on the 1st of October. So before the 1st of October, the song never existed. So, you know, that was the first time it ever, or those words were ever written and where it ever started. It's the 1st of October. We're playing Tonga either that day or the next day. I put with the hashtags for the Tonga game, the Rugby World Cup hashtags, and I wrote, "We're winning this World Cup and we're taking the song with us, thanks." Got a few interactions. At that stage, I probably only had a few hundred followers. I think to date maybe 150 or 200 likes. Had, you know, a relative amount of comments. Had a lot of views though, so I think people were interacting, but you know, I think mostly Irish fans, and weren't happy with it. So they had about 60,000 views or so. So I left it at that, and then a couple of days later, another Twitter account reshared a screenshot of my tweets, but it cut out my name, but it's just a screenshot of the original picture, and said we just received this on WhatsApp. So then I thought, okay, well now this is just doing the rounds, it's starting to catch on. And then I thought, you know, let me have some flags printed, like I had this one done for the World Cup as well. I had quite a few others done. I did a Baldi Khaleesi banner and a flag as well. Just want to say I didn't come up with Baldi Khaleesi. I did make the meme though, which I'm sure a lot of people would have seen. Made some flags, which I was going to take with the World Cup. I went to the Scotland game, which was early in the tournament, and then I had tickets for Tonga as well, but I sold those. And then I had tickets for the quarterfinals for Ireland, New Zealand, and France, South Africa. So we went over to France, took those banners and flags with us. And so the Ireland, New Zealand game, so that was the first time I took that flag out, and I had it outside the stadium. And quite a few Irish fans found it quite funny. A lot of others didn't. Some asked for photos with it, and then when they realised what it actually said, they ran away afterwards. Anyway, I took that with, and actually the security at the Stade de France was very difficult. They were confiscating a lot of people's banners, flags, posters, so I didn't manage to get that into the stadium for that game. It would have been a perfect first game to actually show it. And then, so Ireland won, New Zealand won, Ireland lost, and then went home. The next day was the big day, France, South Africa. I got all dressed up in my usual gear. I'll put some photos up, how I usually go dressed up to games. I attend quite a few games, and took my banner of Baldi Khaleesi and my Rassie, he's in your head flag. And then on the way down to the stadium, there was a fan walk, and we're getting to a bridge, and I could just hear people singing He's in your head, he's in your head, Rassie. And I just turned to my friend and I was like, wow, this is like properly taken off now. So we caught up with these guys and I said to them, look, I actually started that, and then we had a photo together, we sang the song together, I put the video up. Although, I mean, we weren't the best singers. They actually, those guys, after that game, they were on Rugby Pass's video. I think that video also went quite viral, where they sang the song. And so went up to the sort of grounds outside the stadium, so the first section you get past security to get in. And then Valen Kirtley from Newsroom Africa saw me. She asked if she could interview me. Said it was fine. To be honest, I had quite a few beers by that stage, so a lot of drunk courage, and we had a good chat. I was on the Newsroom Africa channel that night. I'll put the video up as well so you can see, where I explained, how I came up with the song and my Belde Khaleesi banner and my Rassie flag. And after that, so went to the game. I managed to sneak in my Rassie flag, and they confiscated my other banners and flags. I was hoping to hang it was a huge Belde Khaleesi banner. I was hoping to hang that off the side of the stadium inside, but they took it off me. And then ITV Rugby saw me inside with the flag, and they asked if I could take a photo, which they also put up on their socials. And then when they were taking the photo, the security saw me, so they came and took the flag off me, so I wasn't able to get it inside properly inside the stadium. Obviously, that was a hectic game. We won it. I had 3 French fans dressed as musketeers behind us, which they were giving me a lot of grief during the game. And then when we won, they weren't very happy. I also had some drunk South African fans sitting next to me trying to get me to do a Mexican wave the entire game, which I was not interested in. I barely breathed and felt sick that entire game. So we won that game. It was fantastic. We had a good party afterwards. Went back to our hotel, came back to London after that, and then that week Rassie shared a video on his X account of some South African fans singing the Rassie song. I don't know where it was in a bar somewhere in South Africa or London or Paris. And then I thought, okay, well, this is like now properly become a thing and people are singing it. Shortly after that, the Irish rugby or sports publication called balls.ie, I'll put the link up, and the article, they had written that South African fans had stolen Ireland's Zombie song, and they shared Rassie's post and the video that he had done, and my original post where it all started. And so after that, now this just became this mega thing. And then when obviously we went on to the final, we won that game. I was at that game as well. I was very fortunate to get tickets to 2 rows, 1 row up from the field, right next to the game where all the pundits were coming in and out. So I got to meet a lot of players, South African players, some Aussies as well, George Gregan. There was a few others there. I got quite a few photos of the players after we won the game. I had a photo of Chesum, which was posted online. It had quite a lot of traction after the game. I mean, it was a mega game. It's a surreal experience. After that game, we were partying outside the stadium in the rain until the early hours, and then went back to London, and just obviously everyone was so happy that we'd won. And then I saw online that after we won, that the Springboks were singing "Rassie's in your head" to him in the change rooms after the game, and I was just like, this is incredible. This silly little tweet and meme that I made has now become this thing that people are singing, and they're singing it to Rassie after the game. And then when they were coming back to South Africa, everyone was singing in the airports, which was crazy. Kosolaga made a video after the World Cup celebrating Springboks win, and they were used that in their in their song or in their advert as well. Radio Raps then created his own version, so it just took on a life of its own after that, and now it's a South African song that we sing in stadiums, you know, for Rassie-ie-ie, for our team. And so that's how it all came about. It just started off as, you know, a moment where, you know, we were really upset, and I just thought, you know, how can I turn this zombie song that I can't get out of my head into a positive for the Springboks and just have a bit of fun with it. So that's how it started. It never started at someone's uncle's bar with his pal after they had a few beers. It started with me sitting on my couch, upset after we lost to Ireland, seeing that video of that guy, you know, how he was feeling. I just thought, how am I going to make this, turn this negative into a positive for South Africa. So that's how it came about. So thank you for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed that. So thanks.